Wow, they're playing my music again. Gabby, thank you for that lovely, lovely, generous introduction. And also on behalf of the judges, I want to express gratitude to you and to Hannah and Zoe and all the colleagues for your tireless work this year. You've made our life so much easier and more joyful. We would also like to thank, collectively, the Booker Prize Foundation and Crankstart for continuing to make this extraordinary prize possible and so accessible to the world of readers. Above all, I want to start by thanking all 13 of our long-listed writers: Colin Barrett, Rita Bolwinkle, Percival Everett, Samantha Harvey, Rachel Kushner, Hisham Matar, Claire Messoud, Anne Michaels, Tommy Orange, Sarah Perry, Richard Powers, Yael van der Waarden, Charlotte Wood. What a deep, deep privilege to have been able to share our pleasure and our respect for your work. Thank you. You must thank them all. And I'm a preacher's son and not wanting to sound too biblical about it, but when you're asked to become a judge, you're taken up to the summit of a very high mountain. And the landscape of your year is spread in front of you, the total remapping of the year you had planned will now extend into every evening, into the reaches of the night, will begin every morning, and will chart every journey that you make. 156 novels will arrive in your life. But what becomes clear and clearer as the months unfold is that this act of reading widely across a year of fiction written in the English language is also an act of reading more deeply, more attentively, yes, more critically, but also more joyfully. For the solitary act of reading, that internal space of attention to a writer's voice, that breathing in tune with an author's breathing that matters so deeply to all of us, becomes a collective act of reading with your cohort of fellow judges, other people whose lives, values, ideas, and perceptions you have such deep respect for. And boy, do they raise you up. I am so profoundly grateful to you, my best new reading friends, of Sarah Collins, Yann Lee, Justin, Jordan, and Nitin Sawhney, who have made this iterative process, this challenging journey of return to books so memorable. And return is key. In finding our way into our shortlist, this hugely challenging task that we've been given, we've held true to the idea that the need for novels to sustain us, change us, and reward rereading. That's the most difficult sentence I've ever read in my life. Reward reread. I've written it down. Reward rereading. As readers, we know the novels whose capaciousness and reach allow us to come back to them throughout our life. We know this. This is absolutely true. Books that live with us. We wanted books that made us think, books with heart, books to keep us up all night. And these novels do just that. They face up to truths, they face us in return. And if that sounds excessive, well, tough. It's the urgency that animates these books. Here is storytelling in which people confront the world in all its instability and complexity. The fault lines of our times are here. Borders, time zones, generations are crossed, explored. Conflicts of identity, race, and sexuality are brought into renewed focus. The precarity of lives runs through this list like quicksilver. And here are books that unfold with quietness and with stealth, as well as books that are completely incendiary. My copies of these novels are dog-eared, scribbled in, a complete disgrace, a librarian's lament. They have been carried everywhere, surely the only necessary measure of a seriously good novel. And our final meeting to choose this shortlist together was punctuated by delight. I hope you hear that tonight. I hope you hear that tonight. I hope you hear it clearly. Delight, pleasure, joy at the expansion of the world that happens with the encounter with memorable fiction. These are books that make us want to keep on reading, to ring up friends and tell them about them, novels that inspired us to write. There was the cry, "I want to write," came up in across the judges' table. Isn't that wonderful? Books that made us want to score music, and even in some cases to go back to wheels and make pots. And so my fellow judges and I want to announce the Booker Prize 2024 shortlist. The first of our shortlisted books is a compelling and atmospheric story of obsession and secrets. It's a novel that explores the things that are kept from us as children and the things we tell ourselves about our own hidden desires. A quietly devastating queer love story which reveals itself to be a story of the Holocaust. Our first book is The Safekeep by Yael van der Wouden. And now over to Sarah for our second book.
Good evening. Our next choice occupies a vantage point we haven't encountered before in fiction, an almost impossibly long-range vision of life on Earth, which blurs distinctions between borders and time zones, as well as our individual and collective humanity. Brief, yet miraculously expansive, it is infused with such awe and reverence that it reads like a love letter to our planet. The second book on the shortlist is Orbital by Samantha Hardy. And now I'll hand over to Justine.
Novels that investigate what it is to be human can veer into the sentimental. This one is utterly flinty and hard-nosed. It's quite something to wrap a novel of ideas into a page-turning spy thriller and to achieve a narrative voice that is so audaciously confident. There's also mystery at the book's core, of human origins and of individual identity. The third book on our shortlist is Creation Lake by Rachel Kushner. And now, here's Yann.
Now, there's a short judge. Our fourth book is a fierce and philosophical interrogation of history, memory, and nature. It is set in a claustrophobic environment and reveals the vastness of the human mind. The juxtaposition is so artfully done that a reader feels trusted by the author to be an intellectual partner. It chronicles one woman's inward journey to make sense of the world and her life, when conflicts and chaos are abundant in both realms. The fourth book on our shortlist is Stoneyard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. And now over to Nitin.
There's so much about our fifth book that's unique and that subverts all expectations, as well as further establishing its author as a masterful storyteller. It's a book that compels us to reflect on the nature of morality, the corrupting influence of power, and the resilience of the human spirit. Despite the book presenting initially as the retelling of a classic novel, its universal themes of identity, freedom, and justice will resonate powerfully with contemporary readers. The fifth work on our shortlist is James by Percival Everett. And now back to Edmund.
We loved the quietness of our final book, and we surrendered to it. Its large themes are of the instability of the past and memory, but it works on a cellular level due to the astonishing beauty of its details. There are very few books that can achieve a pitch of poetic intensity across a whole novel. Starting with a wounded soldier on a French battlefield, this lyrical kaleidoscope of a novel is created from the scattered images and memories of 4 generations of a family. The 6th book on our shortlist is Held by Anne Michaels. Huge congratulations to our 6 shortlisted, wonderful authors and their publishing teams. I've written down here, we thoroughly recommend reading all these books. I want to say we adore all these books and read them. It's a blessed evening. There's an incredibly beautiful moon is rising up over there. Have the most wonderful evening. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the Booker 2024.